back to That LA Garage. Today we're going to be working on a high pressure fuel pump for basically most of the 911s. This is a 997 turbo. We're going to be changing it on this one, but it's the same thing in the 991s and possibly the 992s. But those guys are on warranty and you guys don't have to worry about it yet. But for us that have to do our own warranty, so this is how you do it. We're going to go through all the steps. I'm going to do it with the least amount of work possible. Of course, the service manual wants you to remove a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to show you the tricks that I use to do it and get all the fittings of all the tools that I used. So stay tuned and watch. And if you don't know if your fuel pump is going bad, this is what it sounds like. You got a long start. A long crank before the car will start, and it sounds something like this. So if your car does that, let's get to work. All right, so the first step we have to do is take out the downpipe. Of course, your cars might have different exhausts than I do. I have a simple bolt over here and the bolts around the turbo housing, and there's one Torx nut over here. You might have to remove your whole exhaust. It depends what exhaust you have, but I'm just gonna do that. That's dependent on whatever you have, so I'm just gonna do it real quick before we get into it. Let me give you a quick explanation. We're taking this out just so we can get to this plate over here, because under this plate is where our high pressure fuel pump is. So let me take that off, and I'll meet you over there. All right, so fuck me. All right, now with the plate off, we're going to break loose these two lines, these high pressure lines. The top one is a 14 millimeter, and you just break it loose. I like to break them loose now, and be careful, gas might come out, will come out. So I like to break them loose now while the pump is still connected to the motor. It helps hold it in place for you, so you can focus on just breaking it loose. The other one is a 17 millimeter. So here's the dirty part of this job. You got to remove this plate so we can remove this coolant line, just to get it out of the way. I'm gonna first just remove the cover, but when I pull it out, it's gonna leak a little bit, so you need to put a barrel or something to catch it. All right, so instead of letting all the coolant out, I'm gonna go get some. Let me just pull it out a little bit so I can see what size. We're gonna get plugs to put in there so not all of it comes out. So basically I spilled coolant, made a big mess, put some in my mouth, disgusting tasting. I cleaned my mouth out, cleaned the shop, back at it. All right. Anyways, so there's 3 bolts that are holding the pump onto its place. We're gonna start with the top one, which is the hardest one. Let me see what I'm gonna do. We're going to use the torque socket with a wobble, medium length, how you call it, extension. Throw it in there. Another one here. With those 2 removed, so I'm going to take my deep 8mm socket, put it in there, and get a small ratchet. Now you can remove it. Jeez Louise. Socket, short extension. Now we can remove these lines. Unthread them as much as you could. Top one's out. The high pressure lines. So the 14mm one is all the way out, and I'm working on the 17mm one. Be careful not to bend these hard lines because it's going to be hard to put it back in. If you do, again, this one's also a simple one, but it's deep in there. It's right in between both of the hard lines. There's the screw. Now we could pull it out, jiggle it out. All right. Now this line is in the way. Move it over, and you'll be able to get it out. There we go. That's the old one. I'm gonna go take a look at the new one, compare the 2 before we throw it in there. So here's the new and the old. There's not much that you can really tell from out here. This, you could tell that it's leaking a little bit. And that's it really. But, so there's 2 things. I want to set them in the same position, and then this comes in, you know, this spins. So I want to set it up at the same exact point as the old one. So when it goes in, it'll fit in nicer. Now this one is missing this little O-ring. Otherwise, that holds it in place. So I'm just going to put that in there so this guy doesn't come out anymore. That holds that in place. Now this is a brand new one, but I bought it used. Like this came from a surplus of I don't know, somebody had it on eBay. It was obviously brand new. So I'm very happy because I bought a used one before, and I went through all that work and I had to do it again. So right before I'm going to install it, I'm going to put some oil on a brush and just oil up this O-ring so when it goes in it doesn't get pinched. We'll do the old one too. Just any part that goes in. Good. One other thing is it has these caps. I'm going to disconnect. I want to, take them off because while I put it in, I'm probably going to start threading those two in. So let's go install those. If you're curious, this is how it works. It drives off of one of the cams. The cams spin and in return spin the pump. So it basically sits in the front of the engine because this engine is backwards to the most back of the car. So this is what everything looks like. Those are the caps that I put on. Those are the high pressure lines. And let's go. Let's get to go. All right, here's the new pump. Oh, yeah. All right. All right, it's in the hole there, but I'm going to focus on these lines right now. I want to start threading them while I can, while I can move the housing. Once everything is all tightened in place, it's almost impossible to. And then you end up crush threading it. So let me see. Is it on? I think I got the bigger one. Now let's work on the upper one. Smaller one. It's spinning. I don't know if it's on it. So those are threaded in. I'm going to put in the first bolt right here. I have this paste that it's like putty. It's putty. So I put it at the tip of the nut, the bolt. This way it doesn't fall off. You could use gum. You could use. Just need a little something. It's a very tight area to work, so you kind of need your focus. All right. All right, so the next bolt goes up here. All right, now we can put the bracket. All right, has a bolt on the top. We're going to put that one in first. Alright, threaded it with my fingers, and I'm going to put this one down here too. This one gets the longest bolt because it goes through the bracket and through the pump into the head. This one I'm going to use a short 8mm because it's really tight over there. With everything secured there, now we're ready to put the downpipe back on. I just hung mine aside over here.
Thanks for watching my dad's films, and don't forget, if you ain't got haters, you ain't poppin'.